Welcome to another episode of Midnight Case Files, where we explore some of the world's most shocking true crime cases. These stories are based on publicly reported events and are shared for education, awareness, and discussion. Listener discretion is advised. Let's open tonight's case.
Tonight's case is about a man who seemed to many people like an ordinary member of his community. He was a businessman, a husband, a father, and sometimes he dressed as a clown to entertain children. His name was John Wayne Gacy. But behind that public image was a horrifying secret. John Wayne Gacy was born in Chicago, Illinois in 1942. His childhood was troubled and he reportedly had a difficult relationship with his father. As an adult, Gacy built a life that appeared successful. He ran a construction business, became involved in community activities, and even participated in local politics. To his neighbors, he could seem friendly and respectable, but there were warning signs. In 1968, Gacy was convicted in Iowa for sexually assaulting a teenage boy. He was sentenced to prison, but after serving part of his sentence, he was released on parole. He eventually returned to Illinois and continued building his life. And this is where his public image became especially disturbing. Gacy sometimes dressed as a clown under the name Pogo the Clown. He performed at children's parties and community events. People saw a smiling clown. They had no idea who was underneath the costume. Then, in December 1978, a teenager named Robert Peace disappeared. Robert had told his family that he was going to meet a contractor about a possible job. The contractor was John Wayne Gacy. When Robert failed to return home, his disappearance was reported. Police began investigating. At first, Gacy appeared cooperative, but investigators soon discovered inconsistencies in his story. And the more they looked into him, the more suspicious the situation became. Eventually, police obtained permission to search Gacy's home. What they found changed everything. Human remains were discovered beneath the house. Investigators continued searching the property, and more victims were eventually found. The discoveries revealed that Gacy had murdered numerous young men and boys. He eventually admitted responsibility for 33 killings. The case shocked the United States. How could someone who appeared so ordinary have been hiding such a terrible secret? Gacy was arrested in December 1978. His trial began in 1980 and quickly became one of the most closely watched criminal cases in America. His defense argued that he was legally insane, but the jury rejected that argument. Gacy was convicted of 33 murders and sentenced to death. He spent years on death row. During that time, investigators continued trying to identify his victims. Some families had spent years wondering what had happened to their loved one. Some victims remain unidentified for decades. Eventually, advances in forensic science, particularly DNA testing, helped investigators identify some of them. And that part of the story is important because when we talk about John Wayne Gacy, it can be easy to focus on the nickname, the Killer Clown. But behind that nickname were real people, young men with families, friends, dreams, and futures that were taken away from them. John Wayne Gacy was executed on May 10, 1994 in Illinois. He was 52 years old, but even after his death, the investigation continued. Authorities continued working to identify victims and provide answers to families who had waited for decades. The story of John Wayne Gacy is disturbing, not simply because of the number of lives he destroyed. It is disturbing because of how ordinary he appeared to the people around him. A neighbor, a businessman, a community member, a man wearing clown costume. His story reminds us that appearances can hide things we never expect. But most importantly, it reminds us that the true crime should never only be about the person who committed the crime. It should also be about the victims, their families, their lives, and their names.
This has been the Midnight Case Files. Every file tells a story, and every story is real.